Schizophrenia is a chronic brain disorder that affects less than 1% of the US population. When schizophrenia is active, sometimes are symptoms. I did the same thing I did before. Symptoms can include delusion, hallucinations, disorganized speech, trouble with thinking, and lack of motivation. However, with treatment, most symptoms of schizophrenia will generally improve and the likelihood of reoccurrence can be diminished. While there's no cure for schizophrenia, research is leading to innovate and research is leading to innovate and safer treatments. By the way, this has absolutely nothing to do with the article, but I watched a TikTok of Donald Trump saying that he has a cure for autism. I can't fucking wait to see what it is. I can't wait to see what it is. This guy's talking out of his fucking asshole. If he does have something like that, then thank God. You know, like that would be cool, I guess. But I really just think that at the end of the day, bro, politicians will just say anything for you to feed into their cause that much more. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know why he said that. I don't know if he actually believes it. Maybe, you know, maybe I'm being pessimistic. Maybe he actually does have something, but you know, it's going to, out of all of the bullshit that man spits out of his mouth, that was the last thing I expected to hear him say. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. But anyway, that's the clip it. Yeah, despite the origin of the word from the Latin meaning split mind, schizophrenia does not mean split personality or multiple personalities. Most people with schizophrenia are not any more dangerous or violent than people in general population and may, in fact, be more vulnerable to being the victims of crimes. While limited mental health resources in the community may lead to homelessness and frequent hospitalizations, it is a microcosm that people of schizophrenia or people with schizophrenia end up homeless or living in hospitals. Most people with schizophrenia live with their family in group homes or on their own. So that was something that we did. I don't think I wrote it down in my notes, but I did mention that schizophrenic people are the people that, you know, yeah, exactly, homeless, you know, the people that are on the streets. And because the misconception with homeless people is that they're drug addicts, right? And I think a layer under that are the people that know that a lot of them are struggling with some sort of mental disease. But, you know, from this article, it's seeming like, again, like the majority of the folks that end up on the streets are suffering with something. You know, maybe not specifically schizophrenia, but like, I think I would be surprised if a large portion of them weren't suffering with it. You know, hold on, let me get comfortable. What am I doing? This is my fucking house. This is my fucking stream. I'm not comfortable. What the fuck is this? It's rude. Treat myself rude. All right, am I good? Let me get some water. Hold on, you can. All right, we're good. All right, cool. Most people with schizophrenia are not any more dangerous or violent than people in the general population. And we read that. While limited in mental health resources in the community may lead to homelessness and frequent hospitalization, it is a microcosm. Did we read this? Microcosm that people with schizophrenia. Yeah, we did. Sorry. Research has shown that schizophrenia affects men more than women and fairly equal, but may have an earlier onset in males. Rates are similar around the world. People with schizophrenia are more likely to die younger than the general population, likely because of high rates of co-occurring medical conditions such as heart disease and diabetes. Definitions. Psychosis refers to the set of symptoms characterized by a loss of touch with reality due to its disruption in the way that the brain processes information. When someone experiences a psychotic episode, the person's thoughts and perceptions are disturbed, and the individual may have difficulty understanding what is real and what is not. Now I know what's real and what's fake. That's what that line comes from. Delusions are fixed, false beliefs held by despite clear or held despite clear and reasonable evidence that they are not true. Paranoid delusions, when the person believes they are being harmed or being harmed or harassed by other person or group. The most common. Okay, hallucinations are the experiences of hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, or feeling things that are not there. They are vivid and clear with an impression similar to normal perceptions. Auditory hallucinations or hearing voices are the most common in schizophrenia and related psychotic disorders. It's interesting. Okay. Disorganized thinking and speech refers to thoughts and speech that are. Hold on, let me close the window. Okay. The most common in schizophrenia, we're on, disorganized thinking and speech refers to thoughts and speech that are jumbled or do not make sense. For example, the person may switch from the topic to another or respond with an unrelated topic in the conversation. So, the symptoms are severe enough to cause substantial problems with normal communication. Disorganized or abnormal motor behavior are movements that can range from childlike silliness to unpredictable agitation, or can manifest as repeated movements without purpose. When the behavior is severe, it can cause problems in the performance of daily activity in life. It includes catatonia, when a person appears as if in a daze, with little movement or responses to the surrounding environment. Okay, so the symptoms, I like, this is more to the point, right? So psychosis, I feel like, is still kind of a fresh term for me specifically, because I didn't know what psychosis was until a couple of years ago. And now finally getting to read and do a little bit of research on the definition, that makes a lot of sense, like considering some of the other definitions that you'll loosely hear when associated with schizophrenia. Delusions and hallucinations are the two that I feel like everybody associates with schizophrenia, like voices that aren't there, things that aren't happening. You have evidence as something's not real and it's not true, but you believe it is. And then hallucinations, hearing voices, like these are things that we usually associate. So disorganized thinking and speech and disorganized or abnormal motor behavior, these two are also symptoms I wouldn't have necessarily associated with schizophrenia. I think more because the knowledge I had about it was limited. And more to the point, like, these are usually the two that we heard about, like when you hear something like that. Very interesting stuff. Symptoms. Hold on. Symptoms. When the disease is active, it can be characterized by episodes in which the person is unable to distinguish between real and unreal experiences. As with illness, the severity, duration, and frequency of symptoms can vary. However, in persons with schizophrenia, the incidence of severe psychotic symptoms often decrease as the person becomes older. Not taking medication as prescribed, the use of alcohol or illicit drugs and stressful situations tend to increase symptoms. Symptoms fall into three major categories. Positive symptoms, those abnormal present. hallucinations such as hearing voices or seeing things that do not exist, paranoia, and exaggerated or disordered prescriptions, beliefs and behaviors, negative symptoms, those abnormally absent, impaired emotional expression, affected and flattening, okay, flattening or actively flattening, okay. I'm trying to figure out if I'm saying it right. Okay, decreased speech output, reduced desire to have social contact, reduced drive to initiate and persist in self-directed purposeful activities, and decreased experiences of pleasure. Disorganized symptoms, confused and disordered thinking and speech, trouble with logical thinking, and sometimes bizarre behavior or abnormal movements. Cognition is another area of functioning that is affected in schizophrenia, leading to problems with attention, concentration, and memory, to declining educational performance. Symptoms of schizophrenia usually first appear in early adulthood and must persist for at least 6 months for a diagnosis to be made. Men often experience initial symptoms in their late teens and their early 20s, while women tend to show first signs of the illness in their 20s and early 30s. More subtle signs may be present earlier, including troubled relationships, poor school performances, and reduced motivation. Before a diagnosis can be made, however, a psychiatrist should conduct a thorough medical examination to rule out substance misuse or neurological or medical illnesses whose symptoms may mimic schizophrenia. Risk factors. Research believes that several genetic and environmental factors contribute to the risk of developing schizophrenia, and if stressors may play a role in the start of the symptoms, of course, or start and their course. Since multiple factors may contribute, scientists cannot yet be specific about the exact cause in which individuals case. Man, I'm all over the place right now. Okay. Treatment though there is no treatment, there is no cure for schizophrenia. Many patients under treatment do well with minimal symptoms. A variety of antipsychotic medication and effectiveness and reduced psychiatric symptoms present in the acute phase of the illness, and they also help reduce the potential for future acute episodes and their severity. Psychological treatments such as cognitive behavioral therapy or supportive psychiatry or psychotherapy may reduce symptoms and enhance function. Other treatments are aimed to reducing stress, supporting employment, and improving social skills. Supporting employment, huh? You know, I've also heard that too. Like when I know someone that works with people that are schizophrenic, and she said that when you give them their medicine, it's like a complete night and day difference from how, they were presented to them, like how they met them, how they came in, and when after they've been prescribed or like after they've been administered like their medication. She said that it's like, when once the medication like actually helps is what I'm getting at over here, So that's good to know. Diagnosis and treatment can be complicated by substance misuse. People with schizophrenia are at a greater risk of substance-related disorders than general population. If a person shows signs of addiction, treatment for that addiction should occur along with treatment for schizophrenia. Very fair. Schizophrenia and lack of insight. Some individuals with schizophrenia may lack insight or awareness of their disorder, a phenomenon known as anosognia. And what the hell? Anosognosia? Anosognia. Azonosia. Anosia. I don't know. The lack of insight includes awareness of symptoms of schizophrenia and may be present. People with exodia, are less likely to stay in treatment, and more likely to relapse, experience involuntary treatments, and to have poor psychological or psychosocial functioning. Gotta know that. Rehabilitation and living with schizophrenia. Treatment can help many people with schizophrenia leading high productive and rewarding lives. As with other chronic illnesses, some patients do extremely well while others continue to be symptomatic and need support and assistance. After the symptoms of schizophrenia are controlled, various types of therapy should continue to help people and manage the illness and improve their lives. Therapy and psychosocial supports can help people learn social skills, cope with stress, and identify warning signs of relapse or prolonged periods of remission. Because schizophrenia typically strikes in early adulthood, individuals with the disorder often benefit from rehabilitation to help develop life managing skills and complete vocational or educational training and hold a job. For example, supported element programs have been founded to help people with schizophrenia achieve a self-sufficiency. These programs provide people with severe mental illnesses competitive jobs in the community. I think that's so cool. That is nuts. Like that's the dream, right? Like you're able to actually get a good job, if you apply yourself. That's awesome. It's really good to hear. For many people living with schizophrenia, family support is particularly important to their health and well-being. It is also essential for families to be informed and supported themselves. Organizations such as Schizophrenia and Psychosis Actions Alliance, my bad, Mental Health America, and the National Alliance of Mental Health, NAMI. Shout out NAMI, bro. Shout out NAMI, baby. Oh my God. Y'all don't know nothing about NAMI. They've been saving lives like this. They have some awesome people that work over there. Oh my God. Really, really cool. It's always an honor to meet somebody else that works in the same field as me, that's in a higher position, bro, because it's like, damn, you're like really in these trenches. Like, that's awesome. Offer resources and support to individuals with schizophrenia and other mental health or mental illnesses and their families. See additional resources below. Optimism is important, and patients, family members. I'm gonna reread that whole thing again because that guy wanted to be rude. Optimism is important, and patients, family members, and mental health professionals need to be mindful that many patients have a favorable course of illness, with challenging can be addressed, and patients have many personal strengths that must be recognized and supported. That article was fall off the bone, as usual. I think it's probably one of my favorites. Like just so good, just so good. So close to fall.